Yeah, that was kind of, those days were kind of very, very, very funny days. The war was on and it wasn't going well, because I didn't join up, you see, till 43, I think it was, the end of 42, being 43. And so you gonna or aren't you gonna, but patriotism, a little bit of that came into play, but I think the big thing was, if I get a uniform on, boy, the girls are going to look at me, I'm going to be a big shot. So between the two, we decided to go down and join up, and did join up, and joined up in Toronto, and about 8 o'clock in the morning I was there. Went through all the rigmaroles of getting your hair cut and your medical and your kit issued to you. Went over into the horse palace, into a stall, and about an hour later I got called out and had another kit inspection, and 10 o'clock at that night I was on a train pulling out of this exhibition place for Dundurn, Saskatchewan. And that's where I took my training, at Dundurn, Saskatchewan. And it was just cement block buildings there. They weren't the typical H-hut, they were just square buildings. And 2 stoves, one on each end to heat them. And you had to have somebody that's appointed to stoke them up once or twice during the night. And if anybody was appointed and they dropped off to sleep and the fire went out the next day, you could hardly live with the rest of the boys. So you made sure you did your job. And it was good. I think the thing I maybe relate now, at this stage of my life, to the training we had there. We never ever had enough food to go away with, you felt overly fed. You had enough to survive on, but not to stuff yourself. And we were talking about the stove for your heating. That some nights it was so cold out there when it dropped to 40 below that you went to bed with your greatcoat on. But when we went over and got into action, we were toughened up, we weren't pampered, and we were ever to fight. And I kind of felt sorry for the Americans that had all the nice chicken for Sunday dinner and one thing and another, and white sheets on the bed and one thing. They had to get toughened up in the field, and it really was not a good situation. We trained on the Bren gun, and we trained on the Enfield rifle, and we trained on the Sten gun, and we had some pistol practice. We had a little bit of mortar training. They even got to fire a Piat gun, and so it was fair. There was a lot of drill. I think a lot of it you've got to be indoctrinated into the service, because you've got to learn to obey commands when they're given and not when you think you should do them. So that kind of all enters into the training of a real good soldier, that he acts upon a command and doesn't say, oh, well, I don't think that's right, I could do it better. You don't do that. Because if you had everybody doing that, it would be to the detriment of the whole, and there'd be a lot more casualties and bad situations occur if you don't follow orders when you should. And I think maybe that even applies today. We had some training in wireless, and that was some of the vehicles there. We'd go out and do our wireless training. And we had some reconnaissance training there, because that was a reconnaissance camp. So I think that's because of going through that camp is how I got with the RCDs when I went overseas, because of the reconnaissance end of it.